Hey guys, Scourge McDuck or SMD here. Sorry for the delay on uploads. I was practicing with my team for TI qualifiers, where, spoilers, we didn't do too well. But if you'd like to buy private coaching on Medify, the link can be found in the description. Or if you'd like to support my team, we have a merch store, and the link to that can also be found in the description. If you enjoy this content and would like to see more, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Okay, so in this game I picked Morphling. I had 10th pick in this game, and I saw all of their heroes except for Weaver. And I think Morphling's actually a really strong hero in this patch. I think it's coming back a lot. I think the reasons it's really good are the Falcon Blade buffs, and I think just your generic buffs. Your Shard was added, and I've heard some people say that's why Morphling feels so nice right now. But honestly, I don't think the Shard is that big of a deal. I think the bigger deal is the stat shift per second rescaling. Even though it's worse at level 4, the early levels are super nice, so you can get away with getting more points in your waveform and adaptive strikes, which used to not really be viable. You used to need like max attribute shift gain or at least 3 points in it, and now you can honestly abuse it level 1 a little bit to get some healing, and level 2 you can pretty much just leave it at level 2 for a majority of the laning stage. And the Aghanims is the other thing. So yeah, like some people think the Shard is why it's good. I don't really agree with that. But the Aghanims is pretty insane. So turning into like strength heroes, it's also pretty confusing. So I could be wrong on some of the things I say. But I'm pretty sure that what I'm saying is right. I've tested some things in lobbies. But I'm pretty sure you only steal their primary attributes for the 20% stats. And then yeah, I think you just gain it. I don't know. It's a confusing ability, but you get status resistance, and it's really strong against strength heroes specifically because you get the status resistance when you turn into strength heroes, and also they're losing HP, so it's effectively a nuke on strength heroes. And honestly, you know, this is too much effort for me to do, but maybe I should have tested it a bit and figured out exactly how it worked before making this video. But it doesn't really matter. If you play Dota well, you'll win Dota games. You don't need to know exactly how every little thing works. All I know is what I'll tell you in this replay is all I know. But if you want to know how the Morphling Aghanim Scepter works, test it out yourself, or tweet at Jenkins Dota and have him make a video explaining it, and at me on Twitter when he does. So I'll know. But yeah. It's really strong against strength heroes specifically if it works the way I think it is. If not, if it's 20% all stats on all heroes, then it's just good against every hero because it's just a 20% nuke. But I'm pretty sure it's just the primary stat. So it's especially good against strength heroes because they'll lose 20% of their primary attribute. And it says you steal the stats, so I assume that you like gain them or whatever. I don't know. All I know is, especially in this game, it's really good because I turn into Dirge Undying, I turn into Undying, and I get his Aghanim upgrade on the Strength Steal. And the reason that Morphling is good, a good pick in this game, is you have low maximum HP usually, so the Necro Heartstopper doesn't do much to you. And Dawnbreaker is a low like range strength hero in lane, so I can do a lot of damage to him and harass with Adaptive Strike. Death Prophet is another hero who wants like longer fights and wants to be able to heal up, so being able to burst him down is pretty nice. And then the biggest reason though is the Undying. I can turn to him and still decay, and also Tombstone. So Tombstone, similar to like Terrorblade's Metamorphosis, is pretty much like it's like his real ultimate. It's your most impactful spell on Undying, but it's a primary or like a non-ultimate ability. So what Morphling's ult does, if you don't know, is it steals. You can turn into a hero, and you'll have all their normal abilities and not their ultimate. You'll like have their primary abilities but no ultimate. So it's like you're effectively like a Rubik against these heroes who have very strong primary abilities but weak ultimates, which is Undying's ultimate is strong, don't get me wrong, but the reason you pick Undying is the decay in the lane and then the Tombstone in the game. And I'm gonna have my own Tombstone. Like I think it was like TI 7 or 8. Team Serenity from China, they won their the China regional qualifier to get the invite to TI by picking a lot of Morph. He went by GGG at the time, but now he goes by Fly. He was on IG when they won the major with a reverse sweep against EG. And they picked Morphling into Undying in a lot of their games, and he would just buy a Dragonlance, and they would just 5-man around and the enemies couldn't really fight into them because he would just turn into Undying and make their own tombstone. So yeah, it's just a super strong hero against Undying. So the lane's nothing special. Something I noticed when I watch Yatoro, who I think is the best Morphling in the world probably, is he is very aggressive with his mana usage, which is something I didn't used to do. I used to play pretty passive with my mana on Morphling, but you can pretty much just use your W spell whenever it's up. Especially once you like your Falcon Blade, you have like no mana issues really on Morphling. But I'm just pretty much laning, just sitting and denying. Nothing special happening in the lane really. Yeah, I started with a stick and some branches. I think Yatoro, when I watched him, he was starting with a circlet instead of branches, but I don't really understand why he would do that, so I'm not going to just copy him when I don't understand it. So I had 3 branches, Quelling Blade, and a set of tangos. And then, I mean, I have the same stats as him, and I'm also saving gold for whatever I want to rush. And I can eat my branches, and they can go into my wand. He bought a casual circlet and doesn't turn it into a Wraith Band or anything. If you're going to turn it into a Wraith Band or something, then there's some, like, argument for it being better. Because eventually, I'll have to eat or sell a branch. But, if you're not turning it into anything, I don't really see how it's better other than, like, the stat efficiency. But, like, it's one stat. I don't know. I just don't understand that, so I did the branches. But, yeah, I rushed the Gloves of Haste first. I think it's really nice on Morphling. Normally you don't have mana issues, like I said. Even like I've been spamming abilities, but I had a wand or a stick that I used, so I got all of my mana back anyways. So you can go for treads before your Sage's Mash, just because it's like a better laning item, or your Falcon Blade, just because it's like a better laning item, the treads. And then yeah, I like just getting the attack speed first, because you're really high base damage on Morphling. So the Gloves of Haste feels nicer in my opinion than getting the Band of Elven Skin. So that was really nice there. He did a pull, but we had, or I guess we did a pull, so that's why we had vision of it. I mean, we have a ward too, I think, but it's our creeps here. So I was able to walk over here actually and steal the big creep that he was getting ready to nuke. So that's really nice. And yeah, I mean, I got a lot of denies in the lane. The lane's going pretty well. I'm laning Monkeys Forever, who is a pretty known streamer and a Dota player. X4 Zimmer's player. He's played at like 2 or 3 majors, I believe. And yeah, the blind pick was the Morphling, which was a pretty good pick for me. I think, like, it's not good for me necessarily, I guess, but neither of us care about each other. Both of us are pretty mobile heroes that focus on just, like, killing the enemy's, like, supports alone. So, and then, like, neither of us can really kill each other. Because if I try to kill him, he goes invis. If he tries to kill me, I wait for him and morph. Or I can even just turn into him if I want and go invis as well with my ultimate. But, yeah, so it wasn't a bad blind pick. It wasn't, like, good for me, but it's just, like, neither of our heroes do anything to the other. So it's nice in that sense that I wasn't countered. And I picked my hero knowing I had, like, 4 other heroes I am good or at least not awful against. Yeah, so nothing crazy happening in lane. I'm just, you know, clicking my morph when I'm low and walking out of lane to do healing. I don't really want to get in, like, the too heavy details of, like, how, like, morph works. There's, like, a lot of, like, small, intricate things, and it would just take too long to explain, to be honest. So I am not going to do that. But if you're a morph player, you probably know, like, how morphing down, like, when you're already morphed to strength, you can morph full agi, and then morph back to strength. You'll see me do it here. So when you morph down, once you're at 0 strength, so like I still have, or once you're at 0 HP, I still have 6 strength. So each one of these 6 strengths that I lose is like 20 HP that I am losing, but I'm not actually losing because I have no HP to lose. So when I morph back to strength, that 20 HP is coming back. So I'm magically just gaining HP here. So that's just the gist of that, if that made sense. If it doesn't, I'm not sure what to say. But that's what I did there. So I just went back and healed a bit. My mid gank, we got a nice kill. Really nice for me. I got both of the last hits on the kills, which is really nice for me. Unfortunately, this Necro appeared out of nowhere. He TP'd up and walked through the fog and ulted me. So I do die, and he does get a Reaper Scythe stack. He gets that extra HP and mana regen for the rest of the game. but not the end of the world for me. I got a double kill, and he did use Reaper Scythe, which is like, what is it, like a 2-minute cooldown, if not more. It is a little less actually apparently now. I thought it may have been like 120 or 135, but it's 110. So it's not the end of the world. I come back top because don't really want to farm ancients. I'm really survivable, so I want to sort of play top, which is a little more dangerous. So like if I was like a hero who's afraid of like dying again, I only died because they had Reaper Scythe, and now they don't have Reaper Scythe. So I'm pretty confident that I won't die if I come back top. So there's no need to farm ancients because I'll just get more gold top. And I don't have a Morbid Mask, which is something else to do. With the changes to attribute shift and just being better at lower levels, and Falcon Blade giving you a bunch of mana. I mean, I guess the change was just more damage to it, but it gives. I think they buffed the mana like 2 patches ago or something. You can do that trick I was just showing you, and there's other tricks you can do with treads and dropping your items to get more, like when you use your wand. There's lots of tricks you can do on Morph to just gain free HP pretty much. So, and also if you find a Possessed Mask, it's really nice too. So you can just get away without buying a Morbid Mask now, so you get your Manta and your like, Yasha quicker. So I'm not crazy farmed. So here's nice too. So, I mean, I'm not crazy farmed, but Morph is a hero who's really survivable, so you can show up to engagements like this. Early game engagements on a carry, string equipment at 12, getting nice assist. Here I was able to morph before the Reaper Scythe came out, so you wasted Reaper Scythe for absolutely nothing. And I'm just going to wait from away and then do some morph shenanigans and gain HP. But yeah, because of the change that it now costs mana, you will lose mana when you're doing like HP tricks. But you can afford it pretty much with Falcon Blade. So here, farming. And look, I'm still able to fight, even after farming for a while on low HP. I have Morph ready. I'm showing up to fights, trying to get the kills, and I do get a last hit there, which is really nice. Trying to get another one, and I do not get the last hit there. I creep got it actually. And then turning into this guy to run away, using his abilities on him, morphing again right before the silence comes out, playing pretty decently here. Turning back into the Weaver to secure you back to base to get there faster. Yeah, there's a lot of like small tricks in Morph. Like I'll mention some of them, like I said. I don't want to just harp on how I'm not going to talk about them and then talk about them too much. But you don't want to morph into Agi when you're in the fountain, because you're losing that HP like I explained before. It's like the same thing as before. So you want to start morphing after your full HP. So that's what I do here. So you just heal a little faster in the fountain by doing what I just said. Looking to show up to these engagements. I haven't really played too aggressive like in the side lanes. We're just sort of playing on our side of the map because the enemies are running into us, and I'm just trying to get the kills where I can or participate where I can. Yeah, but this is just too far away from any like jungle or anything. I'm not going to chase like them into their tier 1s. So I'm just farming. Right here though, I can pressure the tower maybe because they showed, and yeah, I almost thought about going to the jungle, but I did not, thankfully. So I'm pressuring the tower, got a nice glyph off, and forced a TP, so that's very nice for my team. They have no glyph now. Glyph doesn't refresh on the secondary tier 1s anymore, only on the first tower of each tier, so the first tier 1 it refreshes. So now they have no glyph, and I can also pressure the bot tier 2 now, if it's too scary to go mid. So lanes were pretty even, but the enemies just had a really strong draft. It's really hard to fight into them. Also, our Brewmaster actually was really behind. Is he actually a support? I don't think he was. I'm pretty sure the Viper was the support in the bot lane, but it doesn't look that way at this part of the game. But the enemies have a really hard draft for us to fight into. They have Necro, who has annoying abilities and is hard to kill. Undying, who has annoying abilities and is hard to kill. I mean, I'm not even going to go one by one. They all just have annoying abilities, and they're all hard to kill. They can all heal themselves. They can all, like... I mean, not them all, but for the most part, they can heal each other. They can heal themselves, and they're pretty mobile or have ways of, like, you know, stopping you from dealing damage or attacking them or whatever. So it's just really hard to fight them early, so we're just trying to show up to good fights where the enemies are overextending, get some kills, and then split push, pretty much. So right here, I force Glyph mid, so I'm able to split push pretty nicely. I just finished my Manta. So there's a little trick you can do. I think I do it here. I know I do it at some point in this game. We'll see if it's here or not. So here's a trick. I think I learned this one from Yatoro again. Like I said, I think he's the best morph in the world probably. So what you do is you Manta, and I mean you can do this on pretty much any hero with a Manta. But I think Morphling, because of your survivability with your waveform and your attribute shift, you can like get away with doing it more than other heroes. So other heroes, by doing this trick, you're committing a lot harder than you are with Morphling. So the trick is pretty much you just Manta and walk away in Illusion. It sounds so basic, but it's such a rare thing from high-level players, and it's probably especially rare by lower-level players then. So you run away Manta Illusion, so they think that you're a Manta hitting the tower, but you're not. So you're doing, you know, a bunch more damage than two Manta Illusions would be doing. So in this case, you know, they did react to me split pushing, but like a lot of times they won't because they'll think it's just two Manta Illusions hitting the tower. So I sent an illusion away to look at like my heroes leaving, so they don't want to react, but then they were reacting anyways. So I'm able to waveform TP. So I just got a bunch of extra damage on the tower and forced 2 TPs regardless. And in a lot of games, they'll think it's just two Mantas hitting, and by the time they realize you're doing too much damage for a Manta like illusion, it'll be too late, and their tower will already be dead. And even if they do react, you'll just do what I did. And I also TP'd to the jungle, so I'm going to be getting a lot of extra farm rather than TPing home where I wouldn't be farming. So I get these 2 extra camp spawns of the Ancients in the large camp before I walk home and heal. And the enemies try to play aggressive bottom, so we show up to a fight. Yeah, turn into Undying, have a Tombstone, really hard for the enemies to fight down to the Tombstone. Try to heal it up with the Solar Rip when I can as well. The fight went pretty poorly though, but it's also really nice for Morphling in this game because we have Decrepify, which is nice because we can use Decrepify on the Tombstone that I steal. Also, it's pretty nice. It's like a free E-Blade for Adaptive Strike, and they nerfed E-Blade on like Morphling. They like reworked how the item works, so it's less good on Morphling nowadays. So it's nice to have like a hero that can pretty much, you know, be an E-Blade for me. Also, we have Natural Order, which goes to the Astral Spirit when you use it. So you can you remove all of the base magic resistance that a hero has, which is really nice because I have high magic damage on Morph. So Skillbuild though, yeah, I mean Skillbuild can be a little wild in the Morph. You can kind of like sometimes you can max Adaptive Strike if you're like landing like a Timber Saw or like a low range like strength hero who is strong in lane. And the reason that it's good to max in those lanes is you can pretty much pressure them out of the lane before they're strong. And then, you know, you're going to have a harder time recovering. So you're really all in on winning the lane in that case, but it can be good in some, like against like a Doom or a Timber Saw or a Mars, you can get away with doing like max adaptive. But if you're just farming, Waveform is usually pretty nice. Waveform is also pretty decent for killing. And then Attribute Shift Gain, it just sort of depends. You normally want like 1 or 2 points in it by level 4. Like you can go 2 Adaptive Strike or 1-1-1 is what I did in this game by level 3. But by level 4 you normally want a 2nd point in Attribute Shift. But then after that you can wait a bit longer. But yeah, normally like if you're just chilling, it's nice to have 1 point in Adaptive for the lane. For the mini stun, it's pretty nice to cancel TPs, and then securing last hits and harassing. And then you just want Waveform usually maxed if it's just like a chill game, because it's just your best ability for farming. And then yeah, Manta is the most common item on Morph nowadays with the E-Blade nerfs. And I mean, Lincolns can still be okay sometimes. And in this game, maybe you could have argued the Lincolns is good, but they have a Silence and Death Prophet. It also is, Manta's pretty nice for killing Tombstone. So that's what I opted for. But yeah, here, I mean, so as you can see though, this game we've just pretty much been split pushing and showing up to the enemies over extending. So here, we're split pushing. And honestly, I think I should have split pushed a bit sooner. I went to the small camp before realizing, because the enemies are fighting and I'm not showing up. So if you're not going to show up to the fights, then you shouldn't farm backwards near the fights. You should play aggressive on the map. If anything, if I want to farm, I should have went here to farm because the enemies are all here. Or I should hit the tower, which is what I think is better. But I went over here and hit this creep twice. But I realized this before, you know, killing this camp, and I stopped and went and did what was the right play. But I just played it poorly. I was caught off guard by this Necrophos having a Blink Dagger, and he blinked and ulted me. I was unaware that he had a Blink Dagger. And I do have the Dodo open, so let's see when he bought the Blink Dagger actually. So he bought it at minute 19, so it is a pretty, or 1955 it says on Dodo. So it is a fairly fresh Blink Dagger, and maybe it was shown down in this team fight, but I didn't hear anyone on my team say anything about it. So yeah, I mean, I could have been playing on more strength. I mean, it's really hard to like just say I should have, like it's really like obvious easy hindsight is 2020 type deal to say I should be on more strength, but I didn't think he had a Blink Dagger, and if he doesn't have a Blink Dagger, there's no way for them to kill me unless he comes from some really weird fog angle or has like an Invis rune,
which are all pretty like unlikely scenarios. So I just want to have the most agility to do the most damage to the tower. But in that case, I got punished for it. So my 2 deaths so far, which I mean, if you looked at the thumbnail of the video, are my only 2 deaths for the entirety of the game. We're both to Reaper Scythe. So I do change from going for a Scotty to a Linken's here, just because I was worried of the Reaper Scythe, to be honest. Especially since I don't have the Morbid Mask, I won't be playing on like too high of HP for all of the game. And the HP regen coming out from the Linken's is also pretty nice. But Scotty is pretty value against Death Prophet, Undying. Like I said, it's just all of them pretty much. They have all those heals. So Scotty is pretty value. But yeah, I'm going to opt for the Linken's here instead because of the Reaper's Scythe. Also, it gives extra slow and attack speed slow on ranged heroes on Scotty. And their carry is a Weaver. So, I mean, it is a pretty nice Scotty game. But I'm opting for the Linken's just because I've died to Reaper Scythe twice. And I want the HP regen as well. It's pretty nice since I have no Morbid. So here we're just split pushing for the same reasons as before. They have Aegis. They're just a really hard team to fight into. And I'm pretty confident with like Aghanims on Undying, Replicate or whatever, Morph ability, my ultimate, in the late game that we'll be able to fight them by bursting down like the Necro and the Death Prophet and playing around with tombstones and things like that we can also decrepify. So just trying to split push then and get the game to the later stages, right? They have an Aegis, so we're just sort of avoiding them, dodging them. So I come bottom. I think right here, literally right here, I should have TP'd top in hindsight. The reason I didn't TP top in the game was because my Pugna had boots of traveled bottom, and I didn't realize his TP was going to be up this quickly. So I thought he has an Octarine, I guess, too, so it's even quicker. But I didn't think his TP was coming up here. So we'll look at it here. So I guess it was up for a while, maybe, too. I guess it came up, you know, before I was even sort of in the lane. But I was unaware of that in the game, which is, like, my mistake. But, so I thought we would have no Pugna in this fight, so I didn't really want to show up. Because when I looked at the fight, let's look at my player perspective. So when I looked at the fight, I guess they used Reapers too. I'm not sure if I saw that in the game, to be honest, but in the replay I just noticed it. So we're glyphing right now. They are pretty low, but we're about to die on Viper. I think he had a Wraith Pact. Did they kill it? It looks like they've killed the Wraith Pact already. Our Viper's dead. It looks like our ET is about to die too. This is my player perspective, so this is what I'm looking at. And yeah, it looks like my ET is dead, my Viper's dead, and in my mind, the Pugna had no TP. So I just want to hit the high ground and force them back and continue to slow the game down. Because if I'm hitting their tier 3, even if my whole team dies, if they take that tier 2, they're going to have to react to me bottom on someone. Someone's going to have to react to me because I just do a ton of physical damage on Morphling and I attack really fast. So someone's going to have to react to me if I go bottom and hit the tower. So even if everyone on my team dies, it's going to be fine. But in hindsight, if I TP'd right here while my ET was dying, I can probably kill the Necro, and the Weaver's really low and can't fight. If he does, he'll lose Aegis, and the Death Prophet's pretty deep, so he'll probably end up dying too. But I don't think we had Bruise Split either in the game, so I mean, it's a hard decision, and I mean, my team was sort of like pinging that I should have a TP, and so like, I like second-guessed myself in the end and TP'd anyways, but I TP'd too late, so I ended up just canceling it to try to split push anyways. Like, I TP'd too late. I had that opportunity right before my ET died is when I should have TP'd in hindsight, but I didn't. So it gets a bit awkward now because I have no TP. I forced the glyph though, but yeah, I'm trying to run away. I caught a glimpse of that the Dirge TPing there, so that was pretty lucky for me, I guess. I maybe would have tried to farm more camps if I didn't see that, but I did, so I just run away, and it's okay. We didn't lose top tower. We forced glyph. We used our own glyph. Our tower is full HP though, and they actually did end up losing the Aegis to my Pugna when he showed up. So pretty good chain of events, even though I maybe misplayed a bit by not TPing sooner. Stacking the Ancients, farming the Ancients, nothing too crazy now. It's been a pretty chill game, like, I've just been split pushing for like the reasons mentioned. I just want to delay the game and get to a point where we can kill their heroes quickly and play team fights with like a numbers advantage, because early game is just way too hard to fight into their draft. So we get a nice high ground tomb here. I think they also got a high ground tomb there. Yeah, and that's another reason why, like, yeah, we're mainly just split pushing and playing on our side. We're not really, like, playing deep, aggressive into the enemy's jungle, trying to force, like, them to come team fight us and things like that. We're just sort of, like, playing on our side, hoping they overextend and punishing them when they do. So we got really nice vision here. I have Husky on my team. He's going to be playing at the TI wildcard, or last chance qualifier, whatever it's called, this here. And he's a good player, ex-teammate of mine. And he's got these really nice wards on our side of the map for the kind of playstyle we want to be having. So even though we did take the tier 2, we don't really get their outpost for a long time, because we just want to play around Roche and punish their overextensions. Because it's really hard for them to walk into us, because we're going to steal the tombstones and we're going to already have our vision planted. So if they try to plant a vision to take a team fight here, we will see it under our wards and sentries and be able to kill their wards, and then we'll just have our own tombstones and things like that too. So it's just really hard for them to walk in and invade us here. And we just want to play here because by playing here, they can't really take any of our tier 2s. Because if they try to go bottom, we can also go Roche, or we can just go fight them if we want. But if they try to walk into here, yeah, it's just way too hard. And then it just gives them no opportunities to take our tier 2s. And if they're not taking tier 2s, the game's getting delayed. And I've already explained why we want the game to get delayed. So now I'm opting for the Ags. For the Undying, I'm turning into him anyways, so I'm going to get 70%, or I mean 40% status resistance by using it. He's also going to lose 20% of his strength, which is a lot of health that he will be losing. And I will have the upgraded Decay Aghanim effect, which is 8 strength steal on a 4-second cooldown, which is kind of unfortunate because they just nerfed it from 10. Which is kind of weird, because, I mean, I've seen some carry on dying, actually, in the TI qualifier for SEA. I think Anna played it, and I'm not sure who the other carry player was that did it. Maybe it was Natsumi. I think it was Natsumi, maybe. Did the carry on dying. But, yeah, the nerf to the Ag is only a nerf to, like, the core Undying, not really the 5 Undying. 5 Undyings don't really get that much farm usually. But it's also a nerf to the Morphling. So it's a nerf to the Morphling, I guess the Rubik, and then the core Undying, which isn't that common. And I don't even know if those carry Undyings bought the shard, to be honest. Here we mini-stun this guy while he's deeping, which is nice, get a kill. Punishing them when they walked into our vision pretty much is what we're doing, which is what I explained we wanted to be doing. We get our own tombstone. I didn't really heal it. I guess I healed my teammate, I think. Pugna died pretty early in this fight, which is unfortunate. Just trying to put my abilities on the enemies and on my teammates with like the heal and use decays. Don't have my Ags yet, so the decay isn't giving me the 8. It's just giving me the... What is it? Is it 4? Yeah, here's the 4. Yeah, so just doing what I've pretty much explained, playing on our side under our vision so they can't Roche and can't take tier 2s, and by delaying them from taking Roche and by delaying them from taking tier 2s, the game goes later, and I think we win when the game goes later. So they walked into our vision again, we walk over, we kill their tomb, they kill our tomb, we kite a bit. We spam decays now, we have Aghanim, so now we're getting it, so I have 24 stolen strength. Really nice, 32, pretty crazy. Your talent at level 25 is 35, so I'm 3 strength away from having effectively a level 25 talent at level 20. And also, you know, my Ags gives me strength, and I believe I'm stealing his strength from looking my all time, while also getting 40% status. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I said that earlier. I think that's why Morphling's so strong right now, is the Ag is just pretty crazy. So let me see this. So I have 56 actually there. Here's what is my all time? Let's see. So I have 33 plus 110. Well, I don't know. I use some decays. I don't know if I get the... And he's dead. I don't know if him being dead affects it. It's a really confusing ability. It says you steal the strength, but I don't know if you're actually gaining it or not, to be honest. But regardless, I'm gaining the 56 from the decays. So yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing this entirety of the game. They're overextending on us, and we're punishing them. Get a kill, walk away, heal. Oh, I got a really lucky neutral item, lifesteal, really nice. so I don't have to buy lifesteal or anything. I can just morph down and play the fights on full HP. And this is pretty crazy too. I'll show this, like I was saying, with the spell amp. It happens soon. So yeah, I mean they did get some kills though, so they're trying to force the rush while our teammate is dead. I tried to use the swarm for vision. The Weaver was forced out of the pit because he saw me. He doesn't want the Aegis to get stolen or anything weird. So this guy just died from like so much HP. He has Yules and BKB available, but he's decrepified, and then Elder Titan right here throws his spirit on him, so that he's natural ordered too. So he has negative 40 magic resistance even with his talent. I'm not sure if his talent's base or not. I think it might be base. Someone told me who I asked about this, but he has BKB and Yules available, but he didn't think he would take 1,000 damage from an adaptive strike, but he did. So that was a nice kill. Caught him off guard there. Right here, I'm right here. Right after we kill this guy, though, you can see how my focus switches. The Weaver, like I explained, isn't really going to die to me. I could look and try and kill the Dawnbreaker here, who's really low, but I see that the Undying is getting very low from my teammates, and I want to turn into him before he dies so I can use Decay and Tombstone. So I immediately switch my focus here to the Undying when I notice that he's over here and that he's getting low, and I'm able to turn into him, and I get a Tombstone on the high ground, and then I don't try to kill him. I don't try to finish him off because it just doesn't matter. He's just pretty useless. He is a 5-position hero. He has no Tombstone available, and I've turned into him already. So I don't really care if he's alive or not. I turn into him, I get the high ground Tombstone, and then I immediately look for the cores. So that was really good focus by me. Get a bit low here, doing the morph trick even in the late game, gaining HP here. The fights are pretty awkward though. It's just they have a hard drop to fight into. Trying to spam decays and spam adaptive strikes and take slow fights. And when they overextend, kill them. So I had no mana here, so I had to go get mana so I can come back to try and get Roche or fight. So now, yeah, just waiting around Roche. The game, like right here, I remember thinking it was pretty awkward in the game because I'm not really getting much gold. I'd really like to have my Scotty. I already explained why Scotty's really good in this game. So it'd be nice to get it, but we just don't want them to get Roshan. So I don't really have like the option to farm my Scotty. I'm pretty much just sitting around here because it's like no one in the entire game is farming. Everyone's sitting around the Roche pit, so it's fine. Even though I would like my Scotty. It's just not possible the way this game is going to just take space to farm it. Because if I do, they'll just get Roshan and take our tier 2s like I've said. So now we see people in side lanes. I'm looking to try and get a pick off maybe on like Undying. But because of this, they were able to like get some weird angle and catch out my Brew and my Elder Titan. And we don't want to fight a 3v5 or even a 4v5, so I just sort of back away. My Viper's killing this guy, I try to connect. Force the Weaver ult here. Still pretty hard to kill him. Get a high ground to him. Get some decays. Kite a bit. Use my abilities. Right here, their mic was like yelling at me to back, don't overextend. I think I maybe walked a bit too forward, but my team was able to like force staff me away. And I'm able to spam decays. And actually the Undying died and me and the Viper both lived. But I think I chased it a little bit too far. Because they could also still have vision there. We don't have this dewarded. Yeah, and they do. So it's just like, it's like a very high probability that there's going to be a ward there. So me chasing there is just, you know, something I should not be doing. But I didn't get punished for it, thankfully. Yeah, use the mini stun here again to just make sure he dies. Then connect back to the team. That guy was able to blink away sound me. I tried to Q through it so he wouldn't be able to. Use my ult on the Weaver there because the Dirge is just taking too long to show. And I popped his Lincolns though by accident with my ult. I guess talents and go over. You always want your level 10 talent on the left. It's just crazy good. A lot more extra cast range out into it. It's like more than a level. It's like 2.5 levels worth of cast range on it. Level 15, I took the Agi in some of the other games I've been playing lately of Morph, but then I looked at other people and it looks like they're taking the Morph duration, especially in this game since I'm going to be playing as Undying with the Aghanims. the morph duration's extra value, but maybe you can situationally take the agility. But I think usually the morph duration is going to be better, especially like I said. I think the reason this hero is so good right now is the Ags. And I'm not sure if the Ags is an every game item either, but when you're buying it, you're probably going to want the morph duration. Level 20, I think you just always want the wave form. Attacks just adds so much damage to you and so much wave clear potential. And then level 25, you always just want the 2 wave form charges. I'm not sure if you can morph this strength into agility. I don't think you can. I think that's bonus strength. So as you can see here, I have 77 bonus strength for my items, and I think, I'm not sure if this is bonus, so I think that's bonus too. The extra strength and agility you get from these abilities. So that can't be morphed down. So it's just raw 35 strength, which is just HP. So I mean, you can argue that it allows you to play on more agility, but you're playing on all your agility anyways in the late game. Look, I'm all my agility anyways, and I have 2k HP, which 2.4, which is more than enough, especially in this game where I'm going to be turning and then dying and stealing more than 35 strength. So you just do insane damage with your level 20 and 25 talents combined. And you can buy like Daedalus and things like that to get extra regular damage in the late game. You can even like go Rapier sometimes, but not usually. So yeah, I explained all my items so far, but I'm going to go for a Satanic just for more lifesteal and another Dispel. Cutting it close there a bit by... There's a cooldown when you morph back and forth, so 1 second cooldown. So you don't want to get caught off guard by a stun when you morph like into an Undying or whatever. Because you won't be able to morph back. So even if you're stunned and like have your shard, you can't use morph when you're turned into a different hero. Yeah, I mean, they're just overextending kind of. We're just getting really strong now. We're just like stronger than them. Even though the gold lead is only 4k, it's just like a matchup thing at this point. So we've delayed the game to the point where we're just stronger than them regardless of gold. So now we get Roche. It was the second Roche, so now I get the shard for free. I never gonna have to buy it. I'm not even sure if I abused it at all. I mean, the extra stats are obviously just abused naturally, but I'm not sure if I really morphed while stunned, to be honest. I don't, yeah, like I mentioned, even though some people think it's good, I don't think that's like why this hero is good. It's a bunch of gold too, when like it's almost an ulti orb kind of, and a lot of your items have those like high cost components. Yeah, I have Aegis now, split pushing a bit. I mean, we're stronger, we're not really split pushing, we're just getting lanes out so we can look for kills. So we push bottom lane so we can look for kills. Here too, I used my E to try and cancel his Lincolns to try to help my team, but in hindsight, like, because if I use my E too, this will be up in like 3 seconds rather than 10 or whatever. But the Lincolns was already popped in hindsight here, and I mean, yeah, it's still going to be on cooldown for the 3 seconds regardless. I think I should have just committed with my W, because if he ends up getting his ult or BKB off and we don't get this pick off, the game just gets, you know, it just gets dragged on, which I mean, at this point, we're fine with it getting dragged on, but like we were dragging on the game to get to a point where we're stronger than them, and now we're stronger than them, so we'd like to sort of close it out. Because there's still potential where like in the late game, the late super late game, that anything can happen. So because we're stronger, we just want to abuse that fact and try and end the game. But luckily, me probably making that mistake there didn't really add up to anything. He still died. I think he wasted his BKB before dying too, which is a little bit of an added bonus. So no Weaver for 50 seconds. We're just going to try and high ground. I saw Death Prophet there and tried to cancel his blink or whatever. Does he have a blink? He actually doesn't have a blink, but normally they do. But I have Scotty anyways that'll get applied by my level 20 talent. So I just tried to get on him and slow him and try and find a kill, but I was unable to. I missed my waveforms. So we're just taking on the tier 2s while Weaver's dead, and now we turn into Undying, hit the high ground a bit. I have a Tombstone. Big lift, so I'm turning into Undying and trying to get some Decay Strength. 24 Strength there, pretty nice for me. Yeah, we decrypt the Tombstone there, and I healed it, which is pretty hilarious. Just stealing more Strength. Not really hitting the buildings, because I don't really want to get initiated on and have some crazy stuff happen. We're not really in a rush to get buildings, like I said. We're stronger than them. We want to abuse the fact that we're stronger, but we just got a tier 3 and a carry kill, and all of their lanes are pushed in pretty hard. And this bot lane's starting to get pushed back into us, so I will go and kill all the range creeps. So it doesn't really get pushed back into us. So lanes are fine, no rush. Tried to kill a Necro there, he got his blink off before my waveform hit. Aegis for 40 seconds, gonna try to abuse the Aegis a bit, if possible. So we're hitting high ground again. Got another Tombstone. The Weaver has a Lincoln's in this game too, and I think he should have probably been prioritizing and putting it on him and dying, so I don't have all these tombstones and all this decay, but he didn't really do that. And you're not always going to be like showed, like look at the Weaver, he's showing top right now, he's not always going to be at the fight at the start of it. He's a carry, he normally wants to show up later. But yeah, turning into them dying, just a really nice Morphling game, and we were able to stall the early game long enough to get to the point where I'm strong and I'm just the strongest hero in the game. That was pretty funny. This guy died to a tombstone zombie. They're like trying to kill the tombstone. Yeah, they have another word to kill, they have the tombstone to kill. We have tornadoes, stomps. Our draft's pretty crazy too, but it's just like not as strong in the early game. So that guy ended up dying to a zombie, tombstone zombie of mine, and I got my godlike streak there. So right here I'm chilling to get the Aegis heal before going back in. Our Pugna's dead, they have Necro and Dawn dead, we have no Aegis now. So we're pretty strong, we can turn, but we killed Undying, they get an extra tomb. This guy buys back. Here I was able to actually dodge the Dawnbreaker ult, which I don't know, may have been somewhat lucky. If that hit, there's potential I could have gotten owned a bit. But I do have the shard, so maybe I would have morphed. I don't know if I would have, because it's pretty new, and maybe would have forgot. But we dodged it, and we're able to fight here. My hero's kind of flying. I'm going to rewind to try and fix that. Replay bug. So yeah, wait out the Aegis, get the heal, then go into the fight. Dodge the ability. Use Satanic to heal, kill the Dawnbreaker. Yeah, you heal a bunch with Satanic Waveform too, and I have the Paladin Sword. So it's just a really nice neutral item in combination with the extra Purge. Satanic's really nice here, especially when you're level 20. So here, I looked at the replay. This guy's Yules was up, so I probably should definitely be dead here. And they had a swarm bug on me, so they did see me, I believe. So that's just straight up luck and like bad play by me, honestly, too. I should have waveformed to the left here because I knew where the Death Prophet was. And these two heroes, the Weaver and the Undying, can't cancel my TP. So really bad placement on the waveform, but I luckily didn't get punished from it. That would have been like, yeah, almost certainly, yeah, like I'm guaranteed to die there if my TP got cancelled. So here what I did too, yeah, you see I left the base on 0 HP because I can just Satanic Waveform, and now I'm full HP. Yeah, waveforming with level 20 and 25 talent can kill waves really quick. Yeah, now I feel like I just need more right-click damage, so I go for the data list. Also, more right-click damage means more lifesteal with the Satanic. And more burst, and also with my level 20, 25 talents, the right-click damage gets applied when I waveform through people in waves or whatever. So 2 tombstones here, kill them. This guy's tornadoed. They sort of overextended into us again. They killed our Pugna, so they thought they were strong, so they tried to like cut us off. And I mean, we're just strong even without our Pugna at this point. Just a really free Morphling game, and we got to the late game. We were able to hold it out long enough, stall it out long enough. Go high ground here, even though our Pugna's still dead, he was blocked, so he can show up eventually. So here though was a bit scary, and I don't think I said anything honestly in this game until this point. I think the very first thing I said in this game was right here. I used my microphone and I said, "Force staff me, please," or "Can anybody force staff me?" Something along those lines. Because I got hexed by this Necro, and but I did thankfully get Glimmer Caped here. I rewound it a few times, so it's not really showing, I think. But I did get Glimmer Caped by my Elder Titan before the Reapers hit, and that may have saved me. Maybe I was going to live anyways, but that's pretty dicey, to be honest. I think it had a big impact in me living, and also the fact that I actually have 15 magic resistance from my level 27, which is cool. But able to live here, and then Satanic, and just heal to full. And that's a dieback for the Necro. And yeah, it's just a late game Morphling, and a pretty like, low stun enemy lineup. Taking tier 4s, take the racks, killing heroes. Got a rampage. Got a double rampage. Hitting tier 4s. Killing the bugs on my teammates to help a bit. Hitting tier 4s. Hitting the throne. Big whiff. So I killed a Weaver and a Stone. Dun dun dun. Pretty much a triple rampage or whatever. But yeah, good late game pick. Good 10th pick or whatever I mean. Late phase pick, not late game pick. Good late phase pick on the Morphling. Pretty just free uncontested game. I had 2 deaths to Reaper Scythe. Those were my only 2 deaths. Bought the Lincolns, never died again. My Pugna did a bunch of hero damage. He did pretty well this game. Also, really nice blind pick from him. He got and the Necro, and it also had pretty good synergy with the Morphing that I ended up picking, and with the Elder Titans aura as well. High magic damage on the Pugna, along with the natural order, was pretty cool. Pretty interesting game, to be honest, because they had this really hard to fight into early game lineup. So we just sort of split pushed and then eventually got stronger than them, and we played on our side of the map rather than like trying to force the issue because, yeah, I mean, I mentioned it a bunch in the game, but they're just like stronger than us. So if we can hold an area and make it so they can't walk into us and defend our towers and just delay the game, we're going to get stronger than them, and that's what happened.